We are constantly told that time is money, but in the digital economy, your time is actually the only currency you have to trade. If you are trying to turn your laptop or phone into a reliable revenue stream, you already know the problem. The internet is flooded with contradictory advice. Half the voices claim you can get rich in your sleep, while the other half insists the entire system is rigged. The reality lies in a wide spectrum. On one end, you have apps that pay pennies. In the middle, platforms for genuine career income. And at the far end, predatory scams designed specifically to steal your money and data. To filter the noise, we have to look at this space through a specific framework, the effort to earning matrix. The horizontal axis here represents the barrier to entry. This is the friction, the upfront effort, or the specific resources required just to get started. The vertical axis represents earning potential, or your actual return on investment. The entire landscape of online work lives somewhere between these extreme corners. Without evaluating opportunities through this specific lens, you are highly likely to waste hundreds of hours on these low-yield tasks, or worse, lose your savings to scams that promise zero friction. Let's start with Category 1, microtasks and cashback apps. This includes platforms like Ibotta, Swagbucks, and Survey Junkie. The barrier to entry here is virtually non-existent. You just need a smartphone and basic personal data. But because the input requirement is so low, you have extremely low leverage as a worker. This chart shows the reality of that low leverage. Spending 8 hours on survey platforms often yields just $3.18. Swagbucks users top out at $5 a day, and Ibotta users might hit $20 over a whole month. These are direct time for pennies trades. You cannot scale them into meaningful, reliable income. That brings us to Category 2, the gig economy, which includes apps like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and Instacart. Here, the barrier to entry rises. You need a valid driver's license, pass strict background checks, and access to a qualifying vehicle. This table breaks down the median monthly income for those inputs. A typical Dasher makes around $100 a month. An Uber driver earns about $155, and a Lyft driver sits near $210. While the cash payout is immediate, there is a hidden friction. You are effectively spending the future value of your car through accelerated depreciation, gas, and maintenance to earn that money today. Categories 1 and 2 are reliable if you need emergency cash or grocery money, but the mathematical reality of the time and physical wear required acts as a hard ceiling for anyone seeking long-term financial independence. To break through that ceiling, we look at Category 3, career freelancing. This includes platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, and TopTal. The earning ceiling here is high. Specialized talent on these platforms can easily earn over $28 an hour, with top-tier professionals scaling past $100,000 annually. But there is a massive barrier to entry, proof of skill. Clients will not even read your proposal without seeing prior evidence that you can do the job. To solve this chicken and egg problem, you have to create a portfolio of 3 to 5 spec projects for imaginary clients. Whether it's a wellness logo or a fictional software landing page, employers judge the quality of the work, not the name of the client. You also have to navigate secondary frictions, like platform fees on Upwork or Fiverr, which means you have to actively calculate those cuts into your hourly rate. The upfront, unpaid work of building that portfolio is a necessary capital investment. You put the time in first to unlock high-yield career work later, which brings us to the final, most dangerous category, the negative ROI events. These are employment scams that target people looking for easy remote work with no prior experience. The common red flags are clear: unsolicited job offers from nowhere, intense pressure for quick decisions, and interviews done entirely via chat. If a recruiter asks for sensitive personal data like your social security number or your banking details during an initial conversation, they are trying to steal from you. This documentation shows how these mechanics work. Scammers use fake job listings and phishing scams to harvest your personal data. Further down, it highlights fake check scams, sending counterfeit checks as advance payment, and reshipping schemes, tricking victims into participating in illegal activity. The ultimate consequence of interacting with these bad actors is a catastrophic loss of your data and your funds. Recovering your identity from a breach like this can take years. These scams are the high-cost penalty for trying to bypass the necessary friction of building real, verifiable skills. Looking at this completed effort to earning matrix, your path forward depends entirely on your current resources. If you are completely starved for time, stick to passive cashback apps like Ibotta for your regular groceries and ignore the survey sites entirely. The pennies are not worth your hours. If you have a car and need predictable, immediate cash, gig work fits that need. Just remember to calculate your true costs. Gas and repairs eat directly into your profits. But if your goal is actual financial growth, you have to ignore the first two categories completely and focus your energy on niche-based portfolio building. This flowchart maps the process. First, select a specific niche. Second, create 3 high-quality spec projects. Third, host them clearly on a platform like Behance or Card, and then pitch your services on freelance marketplaces. And as your final safety check, no legitimate employer will ever ask you to pay a fee or hand over sensitive bank details just to start a job. Treat your online work like a business, not a lottery ticket. Choose the quadrant that actually matches your long-term goals. The internet makes earning accessible, but high income will always require a high barrier of proof. Protect your time and your data. They are the most valuable assets you have.